This episode was made possible thanks to generous supporters on Patreon. This is the second part of the video about odd time signatures. You can watch the first one up here where I explain the basics and how automators work. I will also put a link down in the description. And in this video I will go a little bit more in depth and I will address the advanced meters. So let's get started. So in the first part I shared with you the knowledge about the basics of voltmeters and how they work and how we can divide them into groups of 2 and 3 notes and tap them using the syllables ta, ka, ta to signify the accents of these 2 notes and 3 notes groupings. Now we are taking this knowledge even further, and now we can see how advanced meters like 15/8, for example, work. In the exercise section of the last episode, I asked you to try and figure out how the 2 and 3 note groupings fit into the time signatures of this riff. As I stated, the time signatures are 15/8, 18/8, 15/8, 7/8, and 4/4. I know that this looks intimidating, but in a minute you will have enough knowledge to see that it's not so scary. Let's start with the first time signature, which is 15/8. 15 is a number that we can divide in several different ways, and this is part of the reason why it looks a little bit threatening. But if I play this riff slowly and pay attention to how it pulsates, we can see that it feels like there are 2 sections of it. The first one and the second one. Now let's see what happens with the first part. Based on the knowledge gained from the previous episode, we can easily figure out that this pretty much looks like the 7/8 in the form of 2, 2, 3, or taka, 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 ta. And now I will play this one more time so you can see how exactly it applies. The second section we can analyze in similar fashion. And as a result we can see that it has the groupings 3 plus 3 plus 2, which makes 8/8. This is of course mathematically equal to 4/4, and now I almost hear you asking, but why didn't you just write this riff down in 7/8 and 4/4? Well, there are 2 reasons. Firstly, 8/8 is not the same as 4/4 because 4/4 is not an odd time meter. It consists of 4 beats and each of them has 2 quavers, so it's taka, 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 taka. Whereas 8/8 consists of 3 beats and these are 3 plus 3 plus 2, so taka, ta, taka, ta, taka. Of course, you can use this meter with rearranged groupings, but still it makes it odd time meter. Secondly, the whole riff actually is a full phrase, and to me it's illogical to divide it into different time signatures when it can work into a single bar of 8, 15/8. Of course, if it's convenient to you, you can write the entire riff in 4/4 and then you will end up with 8 bars of 4/4, but the last one will be missing one quaver, so you will be forced to use 7/8 just to fill the entire riff, and this is the approach that many modern progress use, and I'm not particularly fan of this approach because it's entirely mathematical and it lacks musicality and just it doesn't feel right to me. Now back to the riff. Now we figured out that this time signature of 15/8 could be divided into section of 7/8 and section of 8/8. So now that we know that, we can easily tap it and it will be like taka 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 taka. And now I will play it so you can see how it applies. And I hope that now it doesn't look so scary, isn't it? The 18/8 section we can dissect in the same way. And we can notice that the beginning is the same 7/8 segment that we had previously. Taka, taka, taka. And so we are left with the remaining 11/8. And when I play it and you pay attention, we can figure out that it contains the note groupings taka ta taka ta taka ta taka. Now I hope it's clear why this thing is written in 18/8 but not 2 bars of 9/8, right? Let's move to the third section. It doesn't require much of a thinking to figure out that this section is exactly like the first one in 15/8, so we don't have to address it because you already know how it works. So we can just skip it and move forward to the last section, which is 7/8 and 4/4. Now, the first part of this riff, you can already figure out without additional help that it's the 7/8 section that we see pretty much in the whole riff repeating. The second section is a 16-note pattern figure that happens over the 4/4 bar, and since it's mathematically equal to 15/8, and you will now probably ask, but if it's 15/8 and it's one phrase, why are you writing it not in 15/8 but now you write it in 7/8 and 4/4? Why are you so inconsistent? And the answer is because I can. No, I'm joking. The reason is that if you pay attention to this run at the end, it's clearly a separated section, so it doesn't work as a full phrase like in the beginning. And now if I play the whole riff one more time, you can see that it feels like two pretty much distinct parts, and this is why I wrote it in two separate measures of 7/8 and then 4/4. Now, to sum it all up, the complex 2-digit odd time signatures usually can be divided into 2 or more simpler bars of odd time meters, and not only, and thus being much easier to comprehend and count and therefore execute. As a matter of fact, there are many cases where you can see in sheet music time signatures like 9 plus 10, 8, which mathematically would be the same as 19/8, but 19/8 would require some additional analysis, whereas 9 plus 8, 9 plus 10, 8 gives already some hint how we can proceed with beating groups and how the phrasing is going to work. The purpose of using big numerators in the odd time meters, besides being music theory show-off, is rather to distinguish the different phrases for the sake of convenience. Of course, there are some additional factors that may impose the usage of such big numerators, but I will address this in the next video of the series about odd time signatures. So that's everything for today's episode. I hope you find it useful. Thank you very much for watching, and if you like what I do, consider supporting me on Patreon up here and on the links down in the description, where you can get all kinds of useful materials like the tabs of this riff, for example, and the membership starts as low as $3 per month. Also, subscribe to my channel and click that bell button to get informed when I upload new video. See you next time, and remember, practice makes perfect.